Hey guys, Tim Duncan here with a card trick. That's right, you didn't know Tim Duncan could do card tricks, but he's very talented in many aspects, not just basketball. So today I thought I'd show you guys a crazy card move. It's less of a move, more of a flourish. As you guys probably saw by the title, it's the pressure fan. Now, many times we've seen the pressure fan done in different situations. Most people like doing this shit. Most people like doing this thing now, right? This little thing, as opposed to doing a pressure fan. But guess what? The pressure fan is still a beautiful way to get into a fan with a deck of cards that'll make people think, wow, he has no life. So today I thought I'd show you guys how to do a pressure fan so that you guys could also be judged by by the spectators that happen to watch you perform magic. But before anything, you guys should subscribe. Like really though, like I'll wait. You ever just want to die in the inside? So here is the actual tips on the pressure fan itself. Now the deck of cards matters a little bit. You might not want to use plastic, super plasticky cards, even though it still does work with super plasticky cards. Luckily for me, these Alex Pandrea Inspire cards work pretty well. This is an older deck. This deck is pretty old and worn in. However, guess what? With a pressure fan, you'll be able to do a fan even with your most worn out deck of playing cards. So the first thing you need to learn is the proper grip. Now the best advice that I could give you, and the best way that I tend to hold the cards, is with two fingers on the upper right corner. So notice this is the pip corner because there's a pip there. This does not have a pip on this corner. So I would consider this the non-pip corner. That's important. So two fingers, my pointer finger and my middle finger are going on there, and my thumb is in the back near around the middle of the cards, I would say. So that's the situation in my right hand. You notice it's a very specific grip. It's a very tight grip. And at any point in time, I could bend the cards by putting them in my left hand. So that's kind of the grip that I like to go for here. Usually the ring finger is just bracing the upper right corner, or sometimes it's just here. So it really depends on my particular mood that day. However, ultimately, all the pressure is coming from these three fingers. So you got to practice your Tongan death grip. If you get that reference, please leave it in the comments below as to why you too have never seen a vagina. So here, that's the first important step in acquiring this pressure fan. Now the next thing is the grip in the left hand. So one problem that I see with this is that people often start the grip a little bit too clockwise, I guess, for lack of a better term. You want to start all the way on this side of the fan. So you want to start pretty much with the deck and the thumb crotch at this angle. You see that? Yeah, boy. That way you're going to get the biggest and fattest fan you possibly can, as opposed to getting a little bit of a tiny fan and then have people laugh at you and say, hey, that fan isn't as big as my fan. So far we've talked about the grip over here, thumb in the back, fingers in the front. Now you're going to put pressure here. Your thumb is holding the cards at around this position. Notice the proximity to the pip of the diamond. For those of you that are prolific with ASMR, you guys should have enjoyed that little bit. So here, the proximity is about, I would say, more than half an inch away. I would say maybe. That's where it's going. But what's going to be important is going to be what the right hand does in relationship to the left hand. Because essentially what you're doing is you are springing the cards onto your left hand while holding the cards in the hand. So the cards are being sprung from the middle finger. You notice that you see that there's a little bit of a springy action. This is where the under pressure move came to fruition. People realized, oh wow, that actually looks pretty good if I just let that happen. So here, what's going to happen is that you are releasing the cards from your middle finger as your hand pivots around. So that is the hot tip on this. You're releasing the cards. Your middle finger is slowly springing the cards as your hand rotates in an arc fashion. Now what that's going to do is that you're going to notice that is going to fan the cards out and that becomes the pressure fan. However, some tips on this: slow down. Again, I always say slow down. People tend to think, oh, that's just a little bit of advice, I could skip it. No, slow the fuck down. When you slow down, what that does is that strengthens the right parts of your fingers, that strengthens the right part of your fingertips that are necessary to do this action, because it does take a little bit of force with the fingertips. So when you slow this action down, you're going to see what's necessary for the move to actually occur. And guess what? It's going to be more likely that you're going to be able to pick up the move faster. So you better, if you guys want more advice like that, I am sponsored by the Pick Cake Card Academy. So if you look at the description below, it's going to say click here to join the academy. Click there. That helps out. And also you guys learn some hot card magic. So here we go. So now you're essentially going to arc your hand as you are releasing the cards singly in this clockwise fashion. So the cards, one more time, start at about, I would say 9 to 10 o'clock. Your fingers are coming in with the right hand. Let's just get this from this angle over here. They're going to slowly release the cards as your hands move in an arc. Now, it's okay if at first you get a fan like this. It's even okay if you get a fan that's not happening at all. That's totally fine in the beginning. However, with practice, this will be a move that you acquire, and it does look like a phenomenal fan. If you guys ever seen that 007 movie with Sean Connery where he fans the cards out for a female to pick and they're all the lover's card, that was my inspiration for learning this particular move. So hit the like button if you get that reference. Pretty much the best advice that I could give you in doing this is slow down. You're releasing the cards one by one as your hands move in an arc. That's what's happening. So pretty much you are springing the cards into a fan. That's what makes it so difficult, in that you need to know how to spring the cards, and you need to build up the proper finger strength in order to spring the cards singly. Because what's going to happen in the beginning is the cards are going to want to spring out of your hand, and that's not going to be a good thing, because that's not a pressure fan. However, when you do it slowly and when you arch your hands in this clockwise position, you're going to notice that your fan is actually going to be the biggest fan you could have with a deck of cards. And the interesting part about this is that you're not relying on the actual condition of the cards to do the fan. So typically, when it comes to doing a fan, if you have an older deck, cards are going to fan as well, because the finish has been tarnished, and you might have some spectator spittle on the cards. But with this fan, because you're springing the cards into a fan, you're almost forcing them into an actual fan itself. So it doesn't matter the condition of the cards, you're still going to be able to get a wide fan, wider than you would be able to with a normal thumb fan or finger fan, and you could see all the pips. So this is actually very useful if you want to do one of these, hey, think of a card, because you could see each and every single pip in the entire deck of cards. So all 52 cards should be visible, even if you see a little smidgen, and you see how good it looks. This is definitely one of those fans that looks good. So here is some Swahili slow motion for you guys from Africa. So here we go. Hey boy, look at that production quality. So that's the pressure fan. It's not going to be an easy move to get, but once you do get it, you're going to have a very nice way of spreading any deck of cards in any condition in a very flourishy way. It looks generally like you know what you're doing, even if you don't. So if you want to learn one move to make it look like you actually know what you're doing, learn the pressure fan. So I hope you guys got some tips out of that. I hope you guys are able to do the pressure fan because of that. Because to me, at least, when I was growing up, it was a hard move to learn, and I really didn't see any good tutorials on it. So it's a move that I had to pick up on my own. So I found that the best advice is what I gave you in the video. Slow down, use your fingertips, and move in an arc. That's kind of the best tips that I saw on it, or that I picked up after actually trying to do the move for God knows how long. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and definitely practice. Definitely practice. You guys should leave below in the comments what is your favorite Uno card. That would definitely help out. So I'm going to go figure out different ways to use a penny to cauterize a doorknob. Jeff McBride.
see you again, when I 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 see you again.